everyone, and welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche. I am Lori Monaco, the Badass Buddha, coming to you from the South in Eastern Tennessee. How y'all doing this morning? He can pull it off. I don't think I can pull it off.
You got to give her an A for effort. No matter what we do, it's A for effort. Buenos días, mi gente. Aquí con la Margarita, your gladiator guru, from a very rainy Charlton, Connecticut. So, salud and good morning. That's all I can say. I'm stuffy. I might sneeze throughout the show, but I
Yep, she's having a
moving forward.
challenge this morning. So good morning, and as she was at the end of, well, during the show a little bit, but after the show ended on Tuesday. So good morning to Gail. Gail was the first one on this morning through the Empowering Process podcast as well as Facebook. And good morning to Kathy. So happy that you are here. Do not forget to say hello to us in the comments, just in case we miss you. We'd like to say hi back to you, and especially gives me a chance to get onto the Facebook page. One of these days, we will actually be looking at YouTube at the same time. So this way we can pay attention to who's jumping on YouTube at that moment. But for now, it's just Facebook because it's easier for me to handle that. So here we go. We are on Facebook. So let's see who else came on. Nobody that I could see. All right. So here we are. It is April. We are in the middle of April. We're actually leaning towards the end of April. So April's kind of going by on the faster side. March seemed to drag, but April is moving forward. Good morning, Tiffany. There she is. But it's about, the funny part is it's the living month. It's about living our lives and deciding what that is. It's not necessarily about taking action. It is, but we're building up to that because next month is the push month. What are we going to do to push ourselves? And then June is ready, set, go month. So that's mostly the take action. But this month is about living. Like, what is it that brings you joy? What is it that you want in your life that makes your life easier to live? Not everything is going to be happy and wonderful and joyful. Like, there's stuff happens, I mean, like, I have to pick up dog poop in my yard and it's not joyful for me to do it, but it has to be done. And I actually don't hate it because I cannot stand dog poop in the yard. Like, it drives me absolutely insane when I'm at somebody's house and they don't pick up after their dog, because it's not a hard thing. I get it when you miss it, but you miss one or two, but you could see it. And I used to be that person. So that's the irony. I used to be the person that was very, very bad about doing that. But now I'm like obsessed with it. So I don't mind doing it. Does it bring me joy? Oh, I'm so excited I get to pick up dog poop today. No, but it's just something that I have to do. And when you take a different approach to how you are living your life, when you see it from a different perspective, it makes things easier, even the stuff that you don't like to do, but you have to do. And that's what this month is about. It's about living, deciding what that means to you and how to bring that back, into your life more so.
And I think the main takeaway from this is when we talk about this month of living, the best way I can tell you how to be there is to be here, is to be fully present in your now. Not 10 o'clock in the morning and you have 3 reports to finish before the 1 o'clock meeting. Not being here and thinking about what you're going to have for lunch, but actually being here in the now. That is the living. I mean, we can break it down and go into detail, but that's not necessary. What's necessary is just a reminder to us all that to be fully aware of our existence in the now, we have to be here in the now, mind, body, and soul. And I think that's what brings joy, is that when you can control your emotions to come all together into being in the now. What am I going to do now that's going to benefit me later, even though I don't know what I'm doing because I'm not there yet? But what am I going to do now? What is my body telling me to do now? What are my instincts telling me in the now? Because we miss those gut instincts that inner interaction because we're always somewhere else
Yeah.
instead of being
Yep.
present in your now, in your moment. Because, quite frankly, mi gente, that is all we own.
That's correct. Yep. All right. So do you want to start? We'll set our intention. We'll do our mantra, and then we'll get to talking
Absolutely.
about creating. All right. So as always on Viva, we want you to be intentional. So create your intention for today, have a purpose for today, and go out there and just do it. Our lovelies, just go out and do it. And
Do it in gratitude. So when you have to go and pick up that dog poop, do it gratefully and gracefully. You know why? Because you have movement in your hands and in your arms that you're capable of picking up dog poop.
well, and you want to do it gracefully
Intentionally great.
because if you're not paying attention, you'll step in it. So you want to be, so, but I will do that,
Well,
Gladiator Girl. When I do that today, I will say, as I'm scooping it, I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful that
well,
I'm picking up.
you can't be intentional if you're not aware, so you shouldn't step in it. Don't step in shit today, mi gente.
I've stepped in
Be
enough in my
intentional,
lifetime.
aware.
I've stepped in enough. All right, let's do our mantra. Say it loud and say it proud. I am a disruptor.
I am a disruptor.
I am unapologetically courageous.
I am unapologetically courageous.
I am spiritually grounded.
I am spiritually grounded.
I am magically orgasmic.
Ole,
And I keep it real.
all day, no doubt.
All right. So today's conversation is about creating. Now, we want you to understand that creating means creating. That's the definition, right? Create. Remember back in school when they would tell you, they would say define this word, and you would define it using the word, and they would be like, no, that's not how you define the word. So, but creating is, people get caught up in this word sometimes. Sometimes they think creating, oh my gosh, I need to be doing artwork or music or something, like, but I don't have that talent. I'm not able to do that. And we have to tell you that creating means anything. It means anything that is new, something that you yourself have created, have designed. It could be art. It could be in that genre. It could be music. It could be in that genre. It could be writing. It could be cleaning and organizing. It's having an idea, deciding what that idea is, feeling the idea, and then making that idea happen. There's some people that are very wealthy out there, very successful, that their job is just to create the idea. They come up with the idea. They don't have the talent or the capability to actually formulate the creation, but they come up with the idea. And that right there is still beautiful, because they say, this is what I want to happen. I have invented this. I have this idea. I just don't have the mechanical abilities to put it together, or the engineering capabilities. And then they get people and they put their plan out and they figure it out together. And then we have some phenomenal inventions that we use, in our day and age. So it's when we get stuck on that word, the reason we get stuck on that word is because we're overthinking. We're going into the left side of our brain. We're not going into the right side of our brain, which is really more about creating and expansion and ideas. But they work together really nicely, because the left brain is the more analytical side, figuring out how things, but the right side is the more creation. And the best way to do that is to stay still, have time to yourself. Sit and ask yourself pertinent questions. What is it that I want? What would I like to do? What do I want to have? What do I want to create? But you have to have those moments where you're still and quiet. But here's the little caveat. That is true, because we could talk about that, and Gladiator Girl will agree with me. But you also need times where you do very what's the word I'm looking for? It's when you're doing, when it's a task that you've done numerous times, and you do it so well that you could do it in your sleep, kind of deal. When you do those mundane tasks, you could be pleasantly surprised to see how creative you can be when you're doing, like, cleaning. Like, this past weekend, I was in a seminar, right? And I was there all day on Saturday, and I it was interesting, but it wasn't enough to grab my attention the entire time. Like, I would come to every so often to write some stuff down. But what it did for me was I went on this massive creative idea for all the stuff that I have coming up in my business. And I'm just jotting stuff down. I couldn't even keep up with myself. And I was like, this is great. Why? Because number one, part of it was that I was forced to sit for 8 hours. I mean, we had breaks, but I was forced to sit. I could not preoccupy myself with any of the other tasks that I like to do in my, in my space or whatever. I was forced. I couldn't get on my phone that much because it just would be rude. So I had to sit and do that. And it was fantastic. I was so happy because the ideas were just flowing, flowing, flowing. So sometimes it's not necessarily quiet time. It's the time where you just forcibly sit and allow yourself to think. Now, if you're cleaning, you just have to keep a pad and paper with you, and you might have to stop here and there and write stuff down. But if the ideas are flowing and creations are coming, don't ignore them. Write them down, record them on your phone. Oh, I have this really great idea. Or I'm thinking about this, or I decided how I'm going to redo my pantry because it's been sitting with like that for 2 years, and now I finally figured it out. That's letting it flow. And there you go, Gail. Shout out to Gail with her flow state.
Yeah, yes, that's the fifth reason in my Pillar of Peace article is to sit still and invite your power back. My first book that I published in 2006 was all created during work meetings. I'm not that writer that needs quiet or to sit in a certain space with it. I like the TV in the background, people having conversation, coffee shops. I think when you discover, when you sit still and invite your power back and get
Yes.
out the noise of anyone else's suggestion, then you learn who you are. And Gail wrote two things that I love, that picking up the poop for me is being grateful I have such a beautiful pet to care for. And I create the moment I am in. It is a continuous evolution. Absolutely. Try creating before you do anything outside of yourself. Try creating your awareness of your now. Now,
Yep.
and you might not like where you're at, but you have to be present. Because how going forward are you going to know you don't like this, you don't want to repeat it, it's not for you, or you love it? It doesn't, everything isn't going to be good, isn't going to taste good,
Right.
isn't going to glide down your throat.
Yeah.
Everything isn't going to fit you good. Your hair's not always going to come out the way you want it.
Right.
Every day there's going to be something that you wish could be different. Stop wishing for what was or what will be. If you want to be a creative individual, create your space of being exactly where you are.
Mm,
If you cannot do that,
namaste.
then you have no discernment, I must say. You could not choose wisely, judge wisely outside of yourself if you don't know who dwells within. So to be creative, you have to be best friends with your inner self. That's where the creation comes from. And I can see, like, there's many of us, and you're absolutely right. I know people who are such great idealists. Michelangelo, people think he went up there and painted the Sistine Chapel. No, he drew it on a piece of paper and he hired people to climb their asses up there and paint that ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. I always believed it was him. And then when I delved into the history of it, I was like, because as artists, we think we have to be hands on, hands on, hands on.
Yeah.
So, but the badass Buddha says very, very important. You can also be the creative who visualized it, wrote it down, drew it out on paper. But it is not you to actually lay hands on it and make it come to life. That someone else does that. It doesn't negate the importance or of who you are, the director, the CEO of this project, because you brought vision to it. So honor what part of you is the creative, and hone in on that so much that you don't have time to be envious of the person actually on their hands and knees creating it, because it happens. As artists, I find when I meet people, when I go out, I study people, body language. That to me speaks so much louder, especially the facial expressions.
Oh
And
yeah.
found I have found in all my years that if am in a room with one or three writers, and then we're like, oh yeah, I'm a writer. They're like, okay, they walk away, or they don't want to share nothing about what they're writing, what they've written. And I find that to be very disheartening, because I think that I was speaking to the badass Buddha and other things like this. And I was like, does Wonder Bread envy Sunbeam and vice versa? Pepperidge Farm, does it feel like a third wheel? No, them
Yeah,
bitches
that
are
was
side by
such
side.
a good
Now,
analogy. She brought that
you
up.
know?
She said they're in the same. Think about that. All the competitors in a food market are on the same shelf. They're not in different parts of the store. They're right there, all in front of you. Could you imagine
Yes.
if all the restaurants were just right next to each other, like in a food court? All the competitors, people, they still get business. But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I got excited when you said that.
Well, because when you're and let's put it out there, because to be on this show, we're honest. I'm gonna always speak my truth. It's my gig.
That's the
When you
gig.
can't celebrate someone else's accomplishment, then you are lacking. You are lacking within
Yes,
yourself.
you have a mindset of
Okay,
scarcity. Absolutely.
you don't have, what is that word? It just went away. But you are intimidated, easily intimidated by other people. So you become jealous or you become envious because you feel you don't have what they have. Well, honey, you're not going to have what I have, because what I have is mine and what you have is yours. And that's the beauty of being creatives, that when we are confident in who we are, then we know what we can and cannot do, what we can do with our hands and what we can do as an idealist, and then invite other people who have. I love plants, I love flowers, but I will kill them if I touch it. I have too much energy. So I
Ah,
have been known to kill plants with my energy. I can't touch plants. I have one particular person's house I go to, and he'll say, in the center of the room, please, until we leave this sala. Let's say we're in the living room, because I have killed some of his plants before. He's like, your energy is just too much.
my energy of killing plants is just not watering them. So that's
No, mine's just I can't touch them. So when you learn who you
outside
are,
plants. Outside plants, I got it down. Like you come visit me, and I've got beautiful outside garden. Inside, I'm definitely challenged with that as well.
no, I would have to hire somebody to come and tend to my flower garden or my plants if I were to have more than one. And I know this. Am I going to be jealous of the person that has the green thumb? Because I don't know, but I know many people who are.
I'm gonna hire a really hot looking guy that I'm gonna tell him that part of his uniform is that he has to be shirtless
Yeah, well, there you
when
go. I
he's
mean,
tending to my gardens.
whatever floats.
And he
And
can tend to any garden he'd like. I'm good with that. I'm open with that.
that's so I, discover who you are. I think the best journey we will ever go on. And you know what? I wanted to say this on Tuesday. We think that because we went on a journey in our 20s or 30s of our life, that we're stuck with what is. No. I think for every chapter of our lives, meaning every birth date that we celebrate, we should go on a new journey, because now we're a whole year wiser or dumber. You choose which one you're going to be. Did you close yourself off this year because you were angry
I've been
When
there.
death knocks on your door and family members start dropping like flies, you become so overwhelmed that you give up on living. And then another year rolls by and you're like, what the hell am I doing? It's not my fault. Wake up, wake up
Dumber.
and
Dumb, dumb, and dumber.
create the space that you need to be in your life, not have. Create the space you need to be. Because as the badass Buddha, Gail, we're gonna go through trials and tribulations. But it's not about when is this gonna be over. It's how am I traveling through this? How am
Through
I
this.
flowing through
Exactly.
this?
Yes.
So when I get there, I am grateful that I have arrived. That's the space you need to create. When we speak about being a creative, it's not about what paintings you can make, what earrings you can make. It's not about how many books you've written. It's about who you are. What did you learn from it?
Mm.
What was in that mixture that you adapted and you created just your body armor that only you can fit into. And now you're marching out into the unknown with confidence. What have you created in your life thus far since January to today that you can say, hecho a mano, made by hand? Hecho a mano.
And can I interject with, you made me think of something. We're talking about creating today, okay? And when we're talking about creative, obviously we're talking about the positives, but as Gladiator Guru was talking about, she was alluding to the fact that creating is a creative part of we have, that is the one gift that we have been given as humans over any other animal, because we have the ability to create. People could say that dolphins are incredibly smart, because they actually have a better brain capacity than we do. It's been proven. However, they haven't built the things that we built. I mean, who knows? Maybe they have some underwater thing that we don't know about. We haven't discovered. There's like a whole city under there. But the point is that we have this beautiful ability to create incredible things in our lives. We also have the ability to create crap. And that's the bottom line, is that's what Gladiator was talking about. She was alluding to the fact that we have to decide, what are we creating? Are we creating beauty in our lives, creating the life that we want to live, or are we creating crap? And are we not learning from that? So it was so funny what she said. Or are you dumb? And that word is so funny, because listen, you're so dumb. Like if you say that, oh, you're dumb, people, oh my God, that's insulting. But the question is, are you? If you are doing the same thing over and over again, your life has not changed in all these years, and you keep repeating it and complaining about it, you are creating the same exact life for yourself. Why? Who knows? Maybe you don't think you deserve it. Maybe you don't want to change. Maybe you like playing the victim, whatever it is. But we've made it pretty clear that we don't want to hear it. We don't want to hear you complain about the same shit all the time. We want you to say, listen, it's okay to bitch, but what are you going to do about it? Remember, I told you that one thing, that one turning point when I knew how much I wanted to be friends with this woman, like be close to this woman. That one turning point when we had just started to become friends, and I had that really great opportunity. It didn't work out because my kids started to get on the internet. I got dropped from the internet. We had a really bad service, and I was so frustrated. And all I wanted to do was bitch to Gladiator Guru. I wanted to call her on the phone and just be able to say, oh my God, feel sorry for me. This was my big opportunity. And this is what happened. I got dropped. We tried to get back on. It didn't work. And it was all because I told my kid not to get onto the internet, to let me have it free. And she forgot, and she didn't listen. And oh my God, it's awful. It's never going to happen again. There's never going to be another opportunity. And instead she says, and what did you learn? And I looked at it through text, and I just looked at it, and I was like, oh, like looked at that text, and I just gave her the double finger. It wasn't even just one. And I was like so mad, because I'm like, no, I want you to sit with me and complain and be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah. And then I stopped and I went, oh, oh. And then I answered the question. And that was such a shift because that's what I need. I didn't need another person in my life to sit there and coddle me and feel sorry. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, or try to figure out an answer. I needed somebody to tell me to pull my panties back up, get back up, what I learned, and go. So that's when I was like, yeah, there's definitely a reason this woman is in my life now. And that was like huge for me. And that's where you say, I no longer wish to be dumb. I don't that because the dumb would have continued with that. This elevated me because of just one question. And it got me to
Mm-hmm. Well, you just said something. You said before you started on this, and thank you for that. You said this being creative is to be positive. Well, let me tell you something. You're not going to get anywhere unless you have your list of pros and cons. Because being positive and negative, that's a yin yang. Okay? That's what life is. That's the balance of life. So when you can't take two steps forward if you haven't really cleared the path, because
That's
then you're going
right.
to be three steps back
That's right.
in your mind. See, your mind and your heart are always at a tug of war, and then your spirit's like it's like an echo, like "Hello, I'm down here," but you're too busy trying to figure it out. Just be. That's being the best creative in your life. Is to just be. Get drown out the voices of everything you've heard, of everyone you heard, including myself.
Yeah.
When you go out there and you say, "I'm going to make this. I'm going to try my best. This is what I really want." So what you go, you observe, you listen, you read, you put it all into perspective into who you are, but you never lose who you are. See, when you're trying to be somebody you're not, you're going to always lose. I don't give a fuck
That's
how positive you
absolutely
think you
right.
are. So when
Absolutely right.
you're reading Tony, whatever his name is, and everybody thinks he's a god because he has you walking on
Oh,
fire.
Tony
When,
Robbins.
yeah, when you listen to all these people who have made it, and and then you want to be like that. Listen, learn, share, okay? And then it's for you to teach forward. It's not for you to absorb everybody's wording. And then you're so confused inside that you're angry all the time. Because now you can't be Brene Brown. Vulnerability, what's that? You can't be Tony Robbins. You can't be this, you can't be that because you're so
Sure.
busy trying to be everybody else.
Yes.
You don't know who the hell you are. And now you're angry with the world. You're bitter.
Yes.
You're jealous of people. You have insecurities, but yet you're here saying, "Oh, I got this. I've changed. I want to be better." And then your actions speak differently. See,
Liar, liar, pants on
that's when
fire.
I step back and I like to observe people. And you know what? I'm not Willy Wonka. Never have been. I don't sugarcoat shit. And many people will be offended, but it's the people who are not ready to hear the truth. So when I say stop being dumb, and people are like, "Oh my God, that's offensive. I'm sensitive to that." Too bad. Your issues are not mine. So if me saying stop being dumb directly triggered you, ask yourself why. It's not because I said dumb. That word has existed before you have. So it always being a creative always circles back to who you are. And I don't walk around trying to be politically correct to appease every person who has a different idea of how they want to be
It's exhausting. You
this
couldn't
and
do
that,
it.
and I'm this, and I don't give a fuck. I'm Margarita, and I'm walking through. Excuse me. And those who can handle me, I will embrace you, and we will be friends for life.
Unless
Those,
you're a plant, apparently.
yeah, don't. And those who want to say all these things about me, and that's the kind of creative I am.
Yes.
I've created a life according to my birth gifts. And that is to be outspoken. That is to walk my truth. That is to stand for what I believe in, even if I'm standing alone. Those are my core values because I'm going to meet many people in this lifetime. Some will like me, some will not, some I don't give a shit. But I will meet people, and I, as a creative, will learn from each and every one of them because it's not about what people can bring into my life, it's what am I allowing into my life. Am I going to give this person who's been looking at me dirty a chance to learn from them, from their behavior? Absolutely. Because it's teaching me how not to be. It's teaching their closed behavior, is teaching me how to be open. That's the kind of creative I strive to be until my last breath, is to always learn from every situation and then apply what serves me to what I already have and become wiser, become more abundant, become more of service to humanity that are around me. That's the
Yep.
kind of creative we should all strive to be. Not
Yes.
me, but what can I absorb and learn that then I can share with the
Yes.
tribe, with the people that God has brought me to share moments with.
Yes.
As I
Yep.
prepare for my next Camino at the end of the month, and I've been sick, and some people have said, "Oh, that's a bummer." I said, "I'm so grateful that I'm sick now, instead of being this sick climbing the mountains in Spain."
That's right.
So I feel grateful that I have been um, allowed for my immune system to become stronger now rather than later. And that's just being in my moment. That is being now. Is it uncomfortable to be sick? Absolutely. I've been in the house since Monday. I left yesterday for an hour because I needed to go out there and get some air, and it was a little chilly, and I needed air because to me, cold air is more healing than being under a blanket. Um, and and then I came back, and my son had mentioned something like that. He's like, "When do you leave?" And I said, "At the end of the month." He's like, "Oh shit, are you ready?" And I said, "You know what? I'm excited. I'm looking forward to completing this camino. Why? Because it is something I enjoy. I love meeting people from all over the world. I learn from them. You know, the one thing, and we can do on another show, being creative. There was this a 70-something-year-old Italian man, gorgeous, white hair. I met at the albergue during the holidays. He cooked, but he had to select two females, select that he would offer his food to. And and I'm looking and I'm observing the dynamics of the men that were in this albergue. Now, mind you, my hair was shorter, it was gray. Ugh, I didn't wear makeup or anything. And I'm looking, and there was a couple people that would sit outside where I was drinking my coffee and smoking my cigarettes because that's what I do. And we had, at first they were a little standoffish, and then they sat down and we chatted and we cried together and we hugged. Believe it or not, it happened. And so you realize that men create their shortcomings and they make it like their reality aesthetically. And so you learn about, okay, I'm so happy that I practically shaved my head when I did, because I have been, like I said the other day, like Lot's wife, creating an image of myself that's past. Like, oh, I can't wait for my hair to grow like it did then. And it did, like when you put the video of Viva, my hair's so beautiful and long. And that's no longer here. And it was like, oh shit. So I have to be here. So that's why these shows are so important. Because as we share such simplicity that really make life altering changes for each and every one of us in some way, somehow, I needed to be brought back right here. My creativeness here. Now I go to my studio and I'm fascinated. Yesterday I spoke to the when I did walk out, to the manager about the Wi-Fi in my studio, because I want to air the show from there to show you how it is. And I have been making teas for my healing and painting purses, and I sit there and it is beautiful. It's peaceful. I
And
can get
quiet.
there
It's very quiet in there, I'd imagine, right?
and time would go by, and before you realize 3 hours went by, and I'm like, oh my God, because it is a space that I created. And the manager says, I can't wait to see your spot. I asked the ladies up front if they seen it, and Leslie said, oh my goodness, you got to go in there. It is just so vivid in color. And it's just, oh, and I was like, wow, like she didn't even tell that to me when she was in the space, but to hear it come back to you, it's a beautiful thing. So we do things that are complementary to our soul, but other people can feel it because it ripples. And
Yes.
when you do things with love, when you do things that's in your creative sphere to do, and
Yes.
just let go and do it and not worry about, oh my God, this yellow floor. with the white walls? Is it gonna really look tacky? And then you say, I don't give a shit. The yellow
Yes,
floor, I did on
that's right.
purpose so that my frequency is always vibrating high with such a sunshine color. So you don't have to understand my creativeness. Just allow yourself to bask in it and feel it for yourself.
It's about, I see Kathy put, yes, I want to see your space. Yes, you do, Kathy. It's awesome. The thing, do you notice, and see, this is the difference, how excited Gladiator Guru was talking about that. You saw it in her facial expression, you heard it in her voice. It's the same thing when I'm talking about something that I'm very passionate about. The creativeness, it's coming from your heart. It's the brain that's creating it, but it's the heart connection where you're doing it for the right reasons. That you're creating something because you want to create it. And you're not worried about how it's going to look to somebody. You're just saying, I want to
Stephanie.
create this. And then in turn, the cool part is that those that resonate with you, that's a word I love and hate that word. It's overused, but basically it's
Is
meant,
it?
yeah, it is. In my world, it is. I hear it all the time. But resonate meaning that energetically it flows with you. When people connect in that way, those and they love what you do, those are the people that matter because those are the people that you want to connect to. Not
Yes.
that not that other people don't matter if they don't like it. That's not what I mean. What I mean is that you're not doing it for anybody but to do it.
You got that
And then
connection.
the people that are taken by it, they'll feel it because they have that same ability as you. So, like with her space is unbelievable. Like it's so much
Yeah,
so that
yeah.
she has a space that's like kind of in a space. Like you have to walk through a space to get to her space. And I said to her after I saw what she's done, I'm like, you've got to ask them if they can let you also rent the space to walk in because just to walk into that would be so that she has a door to the hallway that people could see and she could leave the door open. So for me, it's I've come to when I'm in spring, I'm all about creating outdoor space. I love outdoor space. I love flowers and mulch and landscapes and all that stuff. And I don't do it to impress anybody. I do it to impress myself. Like I do it because I love it. Like I look at that space and say, it's ugly, it's not looking good, it's overgrown or it wasn't taken care of. What can I do to make that space come alive and that when people drive by, they feel alive? Not to impress them, that they look at that and they go, "Oh, I love this space. It's so beautiful." Again, I'm not doing it for them. I'm doing it I'm not, or I am doing it for them and
I
myself,
was
but I'm
gonna
doing
say,
it for
yeah.
a different reason. I'm doing it not to impress. I'm doing it for people
Mhm.
to just connect and be in that moment, whether it be this house or somebody else's. And so little by little, it's coming into that. So one of these days, I'm also going to broadcast outside because it's so pretty outside with the gardens that are starting to come to life. And this is just the beginning. In my head, it's constantly spinning. What can I do? What can I do with this space? That's my canvas, you know? And it's because you want people to go into those spaces and then turn on their own creativity. You
Absolutely.
want them to walk in and say, I'm empowered. I feel good. I feel at peace. I feel clarity. What am I going to do going forward? It's like a
Absolutely.
pay it forward. It's not so you can hear the
Absolutely.
accolades. Oh my God, how beautiful is this? It's for them. You know what? This is funny. Gladiator Guru and I guarantee I can read her with this. Like this, how well, like how much alike we are. We would be happier for people walking into the space, nothing coming out of their mouth, just the facial and body expression. Like that breath that they take, they look around and they like have no words
Hmm.
because it's not about what you could say. Oh, this is beautiful. I really like it's about how you feel.
It
I mean,
is. It's like like smiling at strangers because you might be saving a life. It's about holding a door open for somebody and not expecting a thank you. It's when I go out there, like some people say, you need to stop because people ride your coattails and then claim your ideas and your creativeness as their own. And it has happened. And it's not, again, there's the negative to the positive. But it is something that I do what I do because I feel like doing it, because it is within me to do it. No permission and no apologies. And if you come into my space and it awakens that sleepy inner being within, then that's my service to humanity. If I awaken the green eye monster, then that's your issue, has nothing to do with me. If I awaken a smile within your soul that makes you leave that space with a little skip to your step, and now you're thinking positive, and maybe it's nothing to do with creativeness, but you want to go home and hug somebody, then I did my job
Yep. Yeah.
of being
That's exactly what
in
it's about.
existence. And you know why I am abundant in life? And I was telling Andabaras, I heard this in a Spanish song, and I can't translate it exactly because you cannot translate the beautiful Spanish language into English without losing its essence. But he says, soy exitoso porque existo. He says, I can't even say the word, so I'm going to say abundance. If anybody, milagros, que eso quiere decir en inglés. Pedro Capo. Soy exitoso porque existo. Like, in other words, I am abundantly gifted because I exist.
Mm.
And we forget that.
Yes, we
We
do.
forget that we exist. So therefore, we are successful. We matter. We live an abundant life because we have life. What we choose to do with that life is totally up to us. You can't blame your childhood anymore. You can't blame your past relationship drama anymore. You can't blame being a teenage mom and that's why you couldn't do what you did. You cannot blame anything other than what are you doing right now in this moment for you. And if you choose to do nothing, then that's where, oh, then you're stupid. You're dumb. What are you doing? Success. Gracias, milagro. So life isn't about what happened to you, it's what you choose to make it. Life isn't about what's gonna happen. You know how they say don't put all your eggs in a basket before anything, before anything happens. It's like people who think they're gonna get money, they start borrowing against that money. I'm just using that as an example. It's the only thing that came to mind. But then something happens and you don't get that inheritance, or you don't get that severance pay, whatever the hell. You don't get it. You lost the lottery ticket. You ain't getting that money now. So that's why, because you're thinking about what's going to happen after you've been stuck in what already happened. So right now, this right here is foreign to you and you're uncomfortable. And you're so uncomfortable that you become insecure. Then you become wary of people who are, oh, look at her, they think they're all that because they're being successful. Just be here. Be here. You are successful because you have life within you. And that in itself is being Monet, Pablo Picasso, Matisse, which is my favorite. You already are successful because you're here and you're listening and you're seeing and you're smelling and you're tasting and you're feeling. Touch, look, you're here. You are a creative.
Yeah, we all are.
Create
That's right.
create the life right now. Jot at least 3 things you want to do today, not tomorrow, not something you did yesterday.
Three
It's
things.
8:48 in the morning. What do you want to do before noon?
Yeah. Yeah.
And just say, okay,
But
it's
put it out
8:48,
there. You don't have to do it specifically.
but not
Just
with the time. Just
come up
write
with
down right now. That's all you have is right now. So you're like, okay, I want to make pancakes for breakfast. I'm going to do 30 minutes. Oh, I want 30 minutes yoga, whatever. Don't put a time on it because all you have is now. So just write down 3 things.
Yeah. And if you could do it before that, that's great. But just at least create it.
Or do yoga while you're listening to the show. You can
That's
do it.
right.
You can do it. Do that cobra.
My ass hurt. I want to stand
Be
up.
present. Let me tell you.
Here we go.
There's nothing more beautiful than your now. There's nothing more wasteful than thinking about, oh my God, what am I going to do tomorrow? Or I'm going to make dinner at 7. I have no idea what I'm going to cook. Don't cook nothing then, because why are you thinking about it so early? Walk your ass to the freezer, open it up. If there's a pack of meat, put it in the fridge. Forget about it until it's time to cook. Put it in the sink. It don't matter. Stop wasting your time on what was and what is yet to be.
Yes.
Be the most innovative, creative in your life. And be present. Stop doing and just get used to being. And then you can appreciate yourself. And for those who don't, it doesn't matter, because you do. You spend the most time with yourself. You share your darkest secrets with yourself. You know what works and what doesn't. Be present. Be the best creative. And you know what? When people say, what are you, a starving artist? Pretty much. But I'm a happy one. How do you make a living out of that? It provides me freedom, my artistry.
And it does.
Right?
And she's
That's
flowing,
right.
baby.
And
she's
that's
flowing.
what people say.
Yeah. You got to
What
see
do you
this
do
stuff.
for a living? I do many things. Like my son says, somebody asked him something. He goes, oh, my mom's a jack of all trades. And to hear that from your son is very inspiring, because they watch you. She does a little bit of everything. And so when you set out to be the best you don't have time to wonder who's doing what. How can I be better than that person? No.
Yep. Your
Just
focus
be
is
you. Be you. You know what? I don't like my art half the time. And the pieces that I really don't like are always the first ones to sell. Because I don't create art for me. And it took me a while to get here. I don't create the art for me. There's the person that will like it and will buy it. And that's what I set out to do. There's some art pieces that I will not sell, because they when I painted them, it's like, oh, my sorrow was transferred, and they hold a special place with me. But then there's some, it's like, that I have even thrown away. My granddaughter has gotten so upset with me. Be the creative that you were born to be. Yep. And if you don't know what it is, be still and invite your power back, as only you can.
That's right. Because listen, in the end, you said something so vital. You said when you're so busy focused on creating for yourself, you don't have time to worry about all that other BS. And, a lot of that BS is what keeps people depressed. It keeps people anxious, worrying about what this one has and what you don't have. And it's just be in that moment. Stop putting all that energy into somebody else and put it into your own stuff. And I'll give you an example, right? So the other thing that I put on there was create inspiration for yourself to allow yourself to create more. So find a place too that is very inspirational for you. Someplace that makes you feel so good, makes you feel at peace. Maybe it's like you park by the beach. You don't go onto the beach, but you just park there in your car and you just look at it. So Friday I went to the couple towns over to this venue. Because I'm putting together 2 very big events. I'm here. Everybody's going to know it now that I live here. And so I'm putting together these very big events, one of which is a wellness fair. That one's booked at another location. But this one is literally a dance party. I just said, you know what? I want to dance, and I want to just listen to club music and dance all night. So I'm going to create it because there's nothing around here. So I needed a big space. So the other space wasn't big enough. Plus I needed one that's going to allow me to sell liquor, because you can't dance without liquor, right? So, so I found, somebody suggested this one place. When I went to this place was exactly my vision for my own thing,
awesome.
What I wanted. It's 27 acres. It's an active farm. They built this unbelievable barn space. It wasn't an old barn. They just made it. It is beautiful inside. They also transformed the old farmhouse into a space to where you could actually sleep in it. They sleeps 27 people the way they have it situated. So events, venues, retreats. In my head, I'm going, this is exactly what I wanted. Now there's this little piece of me that came up and said, God, this sucks. This is exactly what I wanted. And this person has it.
Uh-huh.
And I went, you know what? Then all of a sudden I said, that's so stupid. I met the woman that owns it. Loved her. I fell in love with her instantly. And I thought about it and I said, you know, maybe the space, I might not be able to ever create this space. Maybe the events that I create are going to be done here. And maybe this lady and I will end up having a very good working and friend relationship so that I use her facility to host. Yes, it will be, you know, it will cut into my profits if I choose to do retreats. But her space is so perfect. Like her space is exactly what I wanted in my vision, that maybe that's what has to happen. Mm-hmm. That maybe it's going to be too much challenge. It's going to take too long to create the space at my own space. So I just went with it. And it looks like we are, well, it's not looking like, I'm definitely going to call her today and tell her I want to rent the space for the dance party. It's so beautiful, but here's the best part. I'm walking around. First off, I'm joking with her. I said, could you just like adopt me so like I could live here because this is just wonderful. I gave her a big hug. I said, oh my God, I'm in love with you. Like I'm in love with you because this is my vision. Like this is exactly, and I love, like, I said, would you be weirded out if like I come over, I mean, I'll text you, but if I just come and sit on the property, like if nothing's going on, you know, obviously if there's a wedding going on, I'm going to be sitting there, you know, but she started laughing. She goes, no, not at all. Because it was so beautiful. I wanted to cry. It was so inspirational that all of a sudden, all these ideas started to flow, not to like, hey, can I make this? It's what can I do now? What can I create with this space? What can I create beyond this space, like for my business? And it was so inspiring. Like I got goosebumps. That's how pretty it was. Her decor in the farmhouse, the things that she did, I was like, how did you like come up with to do this? She goes, well, I looked at a lot of different ideas, you know, her space for the farm, the actual event space. She's like, I piecemealed. I looked at a whole bunch of venues. I said, well, I like this part. I like this one. I like that. Put all together. Architect, this is what I want. And when I tell you it's stunning, it's stunning. So sometimes it's about going to a place that you feel so connected to, you love so much that you get emotional. You know, you feel like you could almost cry, or you do. And that's when you sit in that space and just let the ideas flow. Bring a pad and paper. I mean, a paper and a pen, and sit. Yeah. And it could be you just write stuff that you feel and you want to let go, or it could be just ideas. Close your eyes for a minute, listen to the sounds, smell the aroma of what might be there. You know, some aromas are not for everybody. Like me, if I smell horse manure, I actually like horse manure. You know, so I could sit in a farm and it wouldn't bother me.
Yeah, it wouldn't bother.
But other people can't stand. My mother can't stand it. My mother's like, oh, I can't stand being around that stuff, you know? So, but you have to find your space and then let it flow.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing about being of service to humanity, as I mentioned, and people coming into my space, is just for that. Is to arouse your mind, to open up your visions to the ideas that you've been afraid to act on. You have been afraid to even revisit in your thought process. And I think, and I agree with that. When you want to do like that farm, all I thought of when you were talking about that space is she must own a lot of Magnolia magazines, because I love Chip.
Me too.
And
I love both of them. I
I
love both.
love
I
them
want
both.
them to adopt me.
I mean, and then I found out she's half Korean, which makes her more
Oh yeah,
intriguing to me.
you know
And
Gladiator grew and her Koreans.
but every time I go to Target, I always go to their space to see what's new or whatever. I don't buy much, especially now. I'm like practically homeless, but I love it. It does something. It tickles me, gets my blood riled up. Why? Because we need to visit different people. We need to come into contact with idealists, with creatives, with people who just like to create whatever. And I like to put things together that the regular person's going to say, that's not going to match. Well, then don't look at it. And then it comes together and it's like, wow, because that's how I roll. Because I'm true to who I am. I don't try to mimic anybody around me. I don't try to keep it safe. I'm just who I am. And when you are a creative in who you are and trust who you are, beauty is born. So be that and go out there. You have to put yourself out there. Like I was talking about the mountains in Spain, Badass Buddha's visiting places in her area. What is it doing? It is nurturing her ideas. It is saying, you're in the right place at the right time. It's the deja vu sensation. Like I've been here. I know this place. This is what I want. Why did it bring you there? Why were you guided there? Because you are exactly where you're supposed to be. Now get off your ass and start piecing your pieces together. Start gluing your pieces together because this is where your time is to be spent to create in abundance. That goes for you, badass, and that goes for anybody else who has had uh, any trepidations, whatever, any holdback on what they want to do. Let go. Let go. And if it fails, oh well, it wasn't for you. And if it succeeds, harmonize. Because we won't know until we try it, but we can't try it unless we're present.
Yes.
So take that step towards
And
yourself.
clear. The
Well, yeah,
presence,
or even if you're a little
when you're
dizzy,
present, but
but
when
you
you're
don't have to
present,
be clear to fall forward into yourself.
no,
Because
what I mean is though that when you are present, there is more clarity
of
and you
course,
flow. Like it's all connected. When we resist, it persists. When we sit there and second guess, we say, "Oh, I really like to do this, but you're blocking. You're blocking." Just imagine it. It's like you don't think I'm worried? Like, okay, look, this space is not cheap. That event venue, she's giving me a break, but it's not cheap. So I start calculating in my head between the DJ, I get a bartender, I got to get liquor. I've never done this before. This is brand new. I've never created an event like this. So I know that this is how much it is. It's going to be, I have to charge. Obviously charging for the tickets. And I know how many people I want, and I want to make a little profit in doing this because it's my business and but I'm not worried about it. I don't want to put that out there because I know what I want. I want this to be a yearly thing. I want people to go, oh my God, that's the lady that puts these events together. These are really fun events. They're so much fun. You got to go to these. I want that to happen, not because I want to be popular. It's because I want everybody to have fun like I want to have fun. I want to be able to go and dance and let everybody know that movement is freedom, or as you always say, movement is life. It's your living. If you
yeah.
love to dance, then pay the ticket and go and dance and enjoy yourself for 4 hours. Get a babysitter or whatever and have fun. So there is a part of me that's, oh my God, but I don't care. I'm going to make this happen, and then I'm going to see it through. And I already told the lady, I said, look, my vision is this. I want these to be yearly. I want to find a venue that's awesome so that I could be here every year. I said, and in the spring, I want it. So that'll be fall. And in the spring, I want to have a country dance party because people love country music down here. And I want to do this I want people to look forward to this. So that's the goal, is to put that out there and not worry about, well, what if I don't sell enough tickets? What if I'm not
It
going to put that
sells.
out?
I always believe in the 11th hour. So, mi gente, the bottom line is, if we all can make it on October 19th, let's all meet up there. That'd be fucking awesome. But let me tell you, the bottom line is, do what the hell tickles your fancy. You're gonna get people angry, your spouse, your children, your family, because people don't like to take risks. They're afraid of risk. If you believe in what you're doing, just fucking do it. What's with all the excuses? Oh,
Yep.
but on this date and this date and that date. She already went and saw the venue. She liked it. She talked price. She set dates. That's done. Now it's the prepping afterwards. She laid the foundation from here to
Yep.
October. As a creative, you don't have to live in tomorrow. You should never live in yesterday.
That's
Be
right.
present today,
That's
but you
right.
can plan for tomorrow without becoming obsessed with it. See,
Yes.
when I say be here, be the best creative you can be, is being right here in your moment. Doesn't mean you can't prepare for the future. Don't twist
Right.
my words. A lot of people like to twist my words. I don't speak in riddles. So don't let things give you excuses not to do anything. Get off your ass, be present, look in the mirror. How many people on Tuesday looked in the mirror and said, I love you? No one said anything. I didn't forget. Look in the mirror. What are you going to do? Tell yourself what you're going to do today. Tell yourself what you want to write down for the next 3 months. Remember, I live my life quarterly. It's the second quarter of my life. Do it and get it done with. Get it so done with that you're preparing for the time ahead to give you the freedom to do what you got to do from here to there. I did that twice on
Yep.
Monday. I prepped for months ahead of me. So that's out of my way. That's one less worry, one less responsibility I have to deal with until the end of the year. And you know what? I feel good about it. Now I'm going to go about being creative, being here, being there, doing what I am supposed to do with the time on this earth that I have. That's going to always keep a smile in my face and joy in my heart. And with that, I hope you take today, but grab it by the horns. Don't pick up any poop if you don't have to. And be happy, just like Lori is with that
Only
elephant.
pick up the shit if you want to. Only pick up the shit if it makes you happy. And smell it. That I have to say, Kathy said, she goes, LOL, big topics today. Dog poop and horse poop. And then she laughed. She put a laugh. I think that's funny.
No, do what you have to do. The bottom line is you got to do what you have to do to be present, to create the life you are worthy of living. It all boils down to you. Are you worth it or are you not? I'm not saying either or. It's up to you to tell yourself and believe it and then achieve it. No one's responsible for you but yourself. So with that, I got to go.
Got to go do grandma duties. So we'll see you everybody on, have a great weekend. We'll see you on Tuesday when we are talking about, very quickly, is Life Finds a Way. And we're going to talk about going to have Gladiator share the story of the oak tree and the cypress tree. So have a great weekend. Live it. You got all kinds of instructions and goodies and homework to do. Go back and review the video because Gladiator Guru gave you some stuff to do, as did I. And let's make it happen. So from the Badass Buddha, remember, be you, be real, and be extraordinary.
And from the Gladiator Guru, mi gente, remember to breathe in the beauty and breathe out the bullshit. Namaste.